Hello and welcome to Dungeoneered, a podcast dedicated to discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
Let's do this. All right. So, as you know, and you are currently experiencing, we are going through the biggest heat wave. There's a bug on my leg. Ow. Get out of here. Anyways, we're going through the biggest heat wave in Pacific Northwest history.
Uh-huh.
And it's been
a lot of
100
the world
degrees where I'm at for 2 days in a row. Almost 3. It was almost 100 degrees on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking for the Lukewarm Open, which is not so lukewarm where we're at, but I was thinking we should try and do something related to the heat wave. And so where my brain went, and this is going to be a little weird, is my brain went to some sort of resort, like a water resort. But the catch is this resort has some sort of secret. So kind of like what we did with like a secret like school or secret, a couple weeks ago or last week, I don't remember at this point. But this water park has some sort of secret. This resort has some sort of secret. So first and foremost, how would you even run a water park or resort in your game?
I'd probably keep it simple. I wouldn't do something like
What do you mean?
like a Six Flags. I wouldn't do something like that where it has like a wave pool and things like that. I would stick it to like
That'd
a
be
spa.
so funny.
It would, but I don't think it would fit in any of my worlds. I would do more like a spa. Like it's a place you go and have a nice retreat and you relax and whatnot.
Like
And
a tropical island resort or something like that?
I mean, it doesn't always have to be a tropical island. It could just be like, you know how there's a lot of those like spas or resorts, like not even full-on resorts, just like spas that are like in basic strip malls because like it doesn't matter where you are. Sometimes you just need to have a little bit of me time or a little bit like just treat
Got to
yourself.
get those nails done.
Yeah,
Heck
and
yeah.
so they have those in many different places. So maybe it just in a basic city, just in a shopping district. But what I would do for the secret behind them is that so they have a lot of techniques, not specifically for spellcasters, but at least they're liked by a lot of spellcasters. And so what this spa does is it's actually absorbing magical energies from the people that come in. So I'm imagining like they put on like heat rocks, like actual spas do, but these heat rocks also absorb spell slots. And so slowly over time, they're building up this like reserve of magical energy. And I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it for something.
Okay.
And kind of the release, they convince the people coming that a release of spell slots is relaxing and like that it is, part of it is relieving the stress. And so people know they're losing.
So like as
spell
part
slots.
of your entry fee, you have to give up spell slots or something?
No. It's not that blatant of we're stealing spell slots. It's like now this is releasing some tension and magical energy within you. So just be aware of that.
Josh,
and
don't
kind of
tempt me with
feel
a good time.
Yeah. And so it kind of like they put these heat rocks on their back and they kind of like each one kind of absorbs like a spell slot. Like the little ones absorb first levels, the bigger ones absorb third, fourth, fifth. And so they're building up this reserve of magic
what would you
energy.
have like? How would you use this? Like, how would you use that type of thing in a game? What would you even do?
So they have to be building it up for something. I don't know what it would be though.
They want to cause a giant heat wave of 100 plus degrees in a place that isn't supposed to be that hot for a very long time. That's what they're doing with it.
Oh, hold on. That gave me an idea, but
They're like
pretty
Team
much
Magma.
but pretty much the exact opposite of what your idea was. So they live in like a tropical area, and maybe it's been really, really, really hot for a very long time. So they're actually going through a drought. And so what they're doing is they're building up all this spell energy so that they can have this device that pretty much causes rain. And so maybe it's actually for a good purpose. They're not evil people. They're trying to build up this energy for this rain machine to kind of help the crops in the local area.
What? Okay. My brain, when I thought about what you were talking about was a Team Magma versus Team Aqua type thing, and this resort was either going to flood the entire world with torrential downpour or get rid of all the water in the world by making it super hot. But
Two incredibly dumb ideas.
I know, I love that
Team
storyline
Magma
in
and Team-
Pokemon. It's so
oh,
stupid. It
it's
doesn't
so
make any
stupid.
sense.
Like, what do you gain from this?
It's like,
What do you get? What's the purpose of this? What would, in your perfect world, why do you want this?
I think, well, if I I don't know, in Team Aqua, I thought their perspective was like, we're ruining the sea and the Pokemon in the sea, so we should just kill everything, like flood everything and give them back their territory. And then I don't know the purpose of Team Magma. Why would you ever want to put the
it's
world
not
through a horrible
helpful.
drought? That's
It's
just
not
like
helpful
extra
to
bad.
anybody, even you.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But my idea for this resort was going to be something a little bit different. I was thinking like cabins in the woods. Like I'm talking like mountaineering resort. Like you go to this big lake. It's kind of surrounded by woods up into the mountains, and you can have like this nice relaxing vacation. And I was thinking that I'm not sure what the secret would be though. If it was like a mountain lake, I was either thinking something along the lines of like Nessie, like they have a lake monster in their lake, and like people just randomly go missing and disappear from when they swim in through the lake because they get eaten by a lake monster or something. But I don't know why that would be. Like they're hiding it. I don't know. Like they're feeding it for some reason. I don't know why that would be a thing though. But then I was also thinking of like,
I got the idea. I got the completion for that last idea of yours.
oh yeah, what is it?
So this is actually a like magma or fire elemental creature that they're feeding. And what it does is it has lived underneath this mountain resort, which is in a cold area, but it has hot springs. And so it has hot springs because there's this fire elemental creature that they feed to stay there, even though it's really cold. And so
They feed it to keep this hot springs warm.
Exactly. And they kind of entice it to stay.
good.
And yeah. So it's this hot springs
That's
in this
good.
cold mountain.
I like that a lot. I was also thinking, I'm a big fan of horror movies, as you know. And I was also thinking of doing like a haunted resort, like, I don't know, like some sort of like Chainsaw Massacre type resort. Like maybe it's like in the middle of like two major arcs or something, and the party's like having their beach day or whatever. And they go stay at like a mountain resort or something, and it's actually haunted. I thought about something like that too. I think that'd be kind of fun also, having like just like a
Interesting.
random one-off horror session.
I don't know
think that'd be
exactly
kinda
how to
funny.
make that horror. Like, what are you thinking for that?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking like like they go to this resort. I was thinking like the person in charge, like the person they check in with, is like kind of weird, like kind of off.
Like
you know,
you.
like not. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. No, I was thinking
just
more
teasing you.
less loud and less boisterous. You know, like, just off.
Yeah.
And just like throughout it, like kind of dropping hints that this place is just kind of weird. Like maybe the people that are staying there are like all lifeless, and they're kind of like, they don't really have emotions or feelings or anything like that. And eventually, like, it's hard to have one of the party members go missing, because that's like, maybe if somebody was going to miss a day, like on a one shot, like if somebody, like if you knew like a party member was going to be gone that day, like you could have them do a one-off, or they're like traveling to the next location, like, oh, let's stay at a mountain resort, and then the player who's gone is missing that episode, like they stay and all of a sudden they wake up and he's gone.
Yeah.
Like the character is gone. And so then they have like a whole like what happened to them, and in the end it turns out to be some sort of like horrible kidnapping monster who kidnaps and takes people away, and it's just some sort of horror episode. That's kind of what I was thinking,
Okay.
because I've done multiple horror one shots, and they've all been amazing, and I've always loved them.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really fun random horror resort thing to do.
Interesting.
But now it makes me want to go sit in a lake because it's really hot.
Yeah. I was like, why are you? I was like, oh, when you started to say, oh, I want to talk about like
I know.
not even
Wouldn't it be
resort,
nice?
you're-
But instead,
Like,
we have
have
to
that-
record this podcast.
Like we have that like our Six Flag like location. I'm not gonna say the name of it to reveal where we're at, but I would love to drive down there.
It's
and,
pretty obvious, right?
yeah, I think it kind of is, but
Pretty
I'd love to
obvious
go
where
down there. That's now I just really want to hang
How
out
would you
there.
run like a Wild Waves resort in D&D. I
Okay,
don't
just
even
say
know how to
it.
do
Just say
that.
it outright, I guess. Okay, yeah, Wild Waves.
Oh, yep.
If we run a Wild Waves.
Listen,
Listen what?
I can't. The heat is getting to me. I'm not thinking straight. I haven't mentioned the name of my hometown previously in another episode. I haven't. What are you talking about?
Well, Wild Waves.
I don't even know how to do that. That's really
I don't
hard.
think I would do that unless I was in a very specific, silly campaign. Like
Like a fantasy high from Dimension 20. You could definitely do a water park
I gotta
combat in
have
Fantasy
I
High.
gotta
Have you
have
ever
a
watched
dot
Fantasy High?
dot after that because I don't. Nope, never watched it.
You've never watched Fantasy High? Oh,
No, I haven't
recommend.
watched a lot
Highly
of Dimension 20 yet. It's on my to watch list, and I had a dropout
it's
subscription.
so funny.
But I just never pursued it. I went to their Game Changer and their other really funny stuff, but I never went to the D&D things. I always wanted to because
Oh,
I love
man.
Brendan Lee Mulligan, who like runs a lot of that stuff. But
I was talking to Jordan, one of the players in my campaign. I was talking to Jordan yesterday because I was at the house, and we were talking about Fantasy High and Dimension 20, and I was like, I really like Dimension 20. It might be my favorite D&D show. I really like it a lot. It's hilarious.
but that's just because you
It's
haven't
just
watched
so
the Adventure
funny.
Zone. But that's another day.
No, but I did watch Tiny Heist. Have you watched Tiny Heist?
No.
Oh, it's Tiny Heist is the McElroy brothers one with Dimension 20. It's
Yeah, I know
so
that one.
funny.
I that's
Oh,
yeah.
it's so
just
good.
haven't.
It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend. But you could do something like that in a campaign, like where you did like a some sort of like school adventuring academy, and like they take a trip to the water park or something.
There's an RPG system where you play dads. It's called like Dadlands
No
or
way.
something like that. Yeah, and Brennan Lee
Dadlands.
Mulligan DM'd it for them for the Adventure Zone for a live show, and it was ridiculous. Like there's the sports dad.
Dadlands?
There's like the sports dad and the they're all.
That sounds like a McElroy brother thing.
But yeah.
I can just picture Travis being some sort of like grilled
yeah.
dad or something.
Yeah, he's a good Mac. Yeah, they're great. They're great. Okay, let's get on to our topic now because this is just delaying it.
Yep, it's going on too long. It was good.
Yep. So,
Anyways, what's your topic for this week, John?
I kind of talked about this last week. I mean, at least when the idea came to me for this topic. So this week we're going to talk about the wonderful game from Obsidian Entertainment, Fallout New Vegas. Specifically, the character/ghost story
Oh,
from
you mean
that
the
game.
worst Fallout game in the entire franchise? Ugh.
We're never going to agree on that one. I love it so much.
It's just, I mean, I'm
okay,
sure
let me
it's the
just-
community's favorite. Everybody likes that one, but it's just,
I honestly think it's
the
up in the
Mojave
air whether
Desert's
it's
not an interesting place.
I think it's honestly up in the air whether 3 or New Vegas is people's favorites. I think it's the mixture between the two.
Yeah, 3 is my favorite by far. I love Fallout 3.
Now, specifically, the character/ghost story from the game of Fallout New Vegas called The Burned Man. Now, I don't know how far I have to go back to kind of explain this topic, because we could have people that have never heard of or never played Fallout before, and so I'm going to kind of describe that first. So, Fallout is a post-apocalypse game that is set in a world like, but distinctly different from our own. The major difference is that this world diverged from our own and began to research nuclear power a lot more. And so the advancements that they have in science and all that in the game are all in that direction, towards nuclear fission and stuff like that. Now, in this world, there is like a resource crisis where they kind of run out of there's this fear that they're running out of resources, and it kind of builds this tension between the different nations. And in a world that is full of nuclear power, there's a nuclear war that happens, and the world becomes a wasteland.
War never changes.
And so in this nuclear wasteland is the setting for the game. Now, in the game, there is a faction called Caesar's Legion, a totalitarian imperialistic dictatorship that uses an almost tribal-like structure of dominance and slavery. So all in all, not a great group.
They're so interesting in Fallout New
They're
Vegas,
super
though. I think they're the most interesting
I would
group.
love to do
They're
them as
really
a topic later on. So I'm trying to not say too much about their history so we could talk about it more in depth on other episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This group was founded by two people, Edward Sallow, who changed his name to Caesar, and Joshua Graham, who became Malpaeus Legate. Now, I do not know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. Despite these two co-founding...
Probably not, but who cares?
A dictatorship. Yeah. Despite these two co-founding the Legion, it was a dictatorship under Caesar, or how they say it in the game a lot, Caesar. So Joshua was second in command. These two met each other as members of the Followers of the Apocalypse, a humanitarian/science group that believed in research and development to ultimately help the world. So as followers, they went to the Grand Canyon to study the tribes around there and their languages. They were kidnapped by one of these tribes while they were warring against each other. And Sallow saw kind of incompetence, or at least a lack of coordination and military strategy in this tribe. So despite the people that he is with, he went against them and said that he would help them. And so he taught this tribe a few things. He taught them gun maintenance, small unit tactics, explosives, and military strategy. And through these, they ended up becoming massive powers in their area. And after the victories they had...
Doesn't the Legion only use like melee weapons or like thrown weapons or something like that?
No. They do have a lot of... They have a lot, but they don't use only. They have plenty of guns. Now, after the victory over the other tribes, Sallow, or Caesar, was promoted to leader of this group, and the group became what we now know as the Legion. Now, the Legion grew exponentially from this, and in this post-apocalypse, they quickly became a major power, and actually spurred the creation of other groups just to defend themselves from the Legion. Now, one of the major groups that go against the Legion is called the New California Republic, or the NCR, a group trying to reinstate similar system to pre-war America back to the land. Now, one of the major strategic locations held by this NCR is the Hoover Dam, an incredible source of energy in this post-apocalypse. Malpaeus Legate led troops on the first attack on Hoover Dam in an attempt to take it for the Legion. But his forces were unable to overcome the NCR's men, and during this battle, high-ranking Legion troops were taken out from afar, and despite the defeat they were experiencing, Malpaeus Legate ordered his elite troops to push forward in pursuit of these sharpshooters. In the end, they charge straight into a trap and have severe casualties. Before the rest of the elite troops could escape, they are taken out by the NCR in this ambush.
Represent NCR gang.
Upon returning from this disastrous defeat, Caesar was furious with Joshua, and he had to make an example and show the Legion that it doesn't matter what position you're in. If you mess up this badly, you pay, and you pay seriously. So Joshua Graham was covered in pitch and set on fire, and after all of that, he was kicked into the Grand Canyon. Caesar forbade mention of his name.
Sure,
no big deal.
Sure, he'll be fine.
Yeah, Caesar forbade mention of his name. Now the Legion only speaks in hushed tones of the burned man. Some say they even see him still roaming the lands, covered head to toe in bandages.
That's super creepy, but I like it a lot.
It is, and it's great. Now that's kind of where the ghost story ends and the reality kind of begins. Now, in the base game, that's all we really have right there, is just that kind of ghost story, and they kind of hint at this person throughout like just little dialogues that you hear from different NCR troops and different Legion troops. But in one of the DLCs, Honest Heart, we find out that Joshua Graham actually survived his fall from the Grand Canyon.
See, I told you he'd
And-
be fine. That's like an average Sunday night.
Yeah. And through 3 arduous months, he traveled, having to constantly change his bandages to keep from getting an infection. During those 3 months, he traveled to his home where he was born. But as he made this trip across the wasteland covered in bandages, in the end, it only spread the tale of the burned man farther and farther. And this knowledge eventually made its way back to Caesar, who sent agents out to find and kill Joshua. When Joshua arrived home, he was accepted with open arms. His experience with the Legion and how he survived it were so miraculous to him that it actually rekindled his faith from before, and he once again believed in God. He even saw
He
his
joined the
burning.
Church of Adam. Yes, I remember.
No, I believe he's Mormon. I believe the followers of the Apocalypse are like originally the followers of Apocalypse were Mormon, and then they kind of grew into this what they are now, this humanitarian science group, and so he kind of went back to his Mormonism. He actually even saw his burning as a second baptism, a baptism in fire.
Oh gosh, nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. That's how we baptize everyone. Burn them, burn them.
Burn them. If they live, they're meant to be good Mormons.
If they live, it's meant to be. Yep.
That's terrible. I don't want to live in that society.
Yo, we need to make a cult one of these episodes. That'd be fun. I like that idea.
Eventually, Joshua's home was found, though.
Oh, before you continue, Dungeoneer does not condone burning people.
Or crucifixion, or any such thing.
Yeah. Those are usually frowned upon. Usually.
I didn't mention it, but the Legion, they love to crucify people. There's a lot of crosses all over.
Aren't there? Yeah, isn't it like all over the map and stuff?
Yeah. Every one of their locations has people crucified. It's, as I said, they have this kind of tribalist dominance idea of how they run things, and so even to other groups, they want to show don't mess with us.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty demoralizing when you come to a town and your buddies are all up on crosses because they got ambushed and attacked.
Yep. But so eventually Joshua's home was found, and in a bid to integrate themselves to the Legion, a tribe attacked it while Joshua was away. They were hoping to take out his home, which is called New Canaan, and Joshua, but Joshua was not there at the time. The survivors of this attack ran to and hid in Zion Canyon and formed tribes there, where Joshua took a position as acting chief, trying to keep peace among the tribes there while trying to get revenge. Now, Joshua has a really fun, kind of progression through the DLC where you can kind of, push him into revenge, or you can kind of bring him into, acceptance and letting go. And it's really interesting how he, how he kind of relates it and kind of, convinces himself that it's okay in his religion. He's like, no, going for revenge and killing all these people is great. It totally is what God would want me to do. And it's really interesting just the way that they express that and explore that. Now, this is all I have this week for The Burned Man.
I was thinking burning people. Is that what we're doing?
I was thinking we should create some sort of ghost story, some sort of terrible historical event that creates something that people still see. And maybe it is like Joshua, where maybe it does become oh wait, we meet the Bigfoot or whatever it is, and they learn its actual story. Or maybe it just is always a ghost story, just something to fear. And maybe they even find something that you trick them and make them think for a long time, oh wait, is this that ghost story? Only to find out, no, this is just somebody else or some other thing.
I love ghost stories, so yeah, let's definitely make a fun ghost story. Thoughts. What are you thinking?
I have no idea, honestly. No clue.
Okay. So I guess what's our goal with this ghost story? Just to liven up the world, or what are we doing? What's the goal here?
Well, that's what I was looking for you
Do we
for.
want
I
to
was like,
scare the pants off our players? Do we want to just make it interesting? What's what's the goal?
So that's what I was wondering from you, because I'm not sure about that one. Is it more of just adding to the world and making the world feel alive, how it has these ghost stories and has these things in it, or is it more of like this is something they're actually going to encounter?
Well, if we're gonna so depends on if we're gonna go with the route that's we want the players to encounter. We should do some sort of like legend that is important to whatever story they're pursuing, so that like it's easy to tie in, because it can be pretty hard just to like randomly, unless you just want to do a random one-shot horror story like I talked about in the Lukewarm Open. Like unless you wanted to do that, then you could do something like that. But
Yeah.
like
I mean,
the
it
ghost
could be
story
more of a
I
local
had
folk
in-
legend, like something that isn't
What was that?
even that important. I was saying it could be more of like a
Yeah.
local folk legend where it's like, oh, like they come into a town late at night and they're like, oh, you were traveling at night? But what about the yada yada? Because you got to be careful with it.
the yada yada. That's its name. The yada yada.
The yada yada.
The legend of the yada yada.
Oh, gosh.
No, but I mean the ghost story I did in my first campaign, which I can't remember if I've talked about this or not. Probably have. It's been so many episodes, but the ghost story I did in my campaign was a one shot for Halloween, which I know I've told you for sure about it. But essentially, I wanted to give the players a like stronghold, essentially, not a castle, just like a manor. And so what I did is on Halloween night, I made an entire haunted manor and haunted house that had a whole huge backstory, just so that they could get the deed of the manor. And so they eventually had to like make their way through the entire haunted house. And essentially what happened is the person who he was called, like, I don't know if I called him like the Bloody Baron or something super cliche, but he ruled over the land called the Iron Valley, and he essentially like enslaved his peasants to work the iron mines. And eventually these peasants revolted and they murdered him and his family. And what they did is they killed the kids in front of him, and then the mom in front of him, and then him last. And because of that, he became like a ghost that haunted the house with his family. And the way you essentially undid the curse is followed the whole steps and like reenact fighting him and his family and taking over the manor. And then at the end, he gave you the deed for releasing him of the house and his famous axe for releasing him and helping his family. And then how I tied it into the story is he had three sons, and you end up killing only two of them because one of them escaped and survived, and he was the head of the rebellion that was going on in the country they were in. And so they got to like deliver the axe to him, like his ancestral axe, and it was super cool. But that's how I ended up doing a ghost story in that. And so essentially it was just this manor on the top of the hill that was always haunting, and people would hear like voices from it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that, I think,
as a player,
the best way to do it.
As a player, I've always wanted to play kind of like a monster in the woods. So the person would be a warlock, and they would be like this weird, like my idea for when I was trying to draw it would be like they have like this almost like Mylena from Mortal Kombat, where they have like this large, almost animalistic mouth that goes like way past where human mouths would be, and it looks like the maybe even has like horns, and it's this weird mutated humanoid that people just assumed is like this horrifying monster. So it was quickly kicked out of society when they were born from whoever their parent was. They just like left them in the woods to die, but their patron like saved them and was their only friend. And so I always like those ideas of this whole society is like scared of this thing in the woods, only to find out that it's not actually scary. But just because you see it, they're like, that looks horrifying.
It reminds me of the Ranger's Apprentice. Have you ever read Ranger's Apprentice?
Not in a very long time. I don't remember anything about it.
Those are my childhood books, man. I love those. But yeah, there's
I did like them. I remember that.
in Ranger's Apprentice.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like it. It's like a creepy wizard guy who's supposed to be terrible and evil. It's a good,
when did
good
that
story.
what book was that in?
book 5.
Okay, yeah, I think I only read the first 3. So I was like, I
Yeah,
was like, I definitely don't
Yeah,
remember
there's like
that.
15 of them or something, or 20. There's so many
Oh,
of them now.
wow.
It's insane. Yeah, it's
He
huge.
probably
It's a
kept
huge
writing
series,
after I
but,
read it because I thought there was only 3. Because I literally bought like a box set where it had like them all.
yeah, that's the
3
trilogy.
box.
That's the first trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a whole nother series out too now
Hmm.
that doesn't involve the Rangers and Will. But yeah, the first Ranger's Apprentice is like 20 books long now, and the new series is like 6 books or something like that, or 7 books, 5 books.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, I think let's create like a. I'm gonna give you a couple options. I'm gonna have you choose
Okay.
either a monster in the woods type thing, which we kind of already did though with the Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, did we already kind of do something like that?
With the hag.
Did we do something like that? I don't remember. No. What was the weird deer monster that like consumed people's souls or something like that, and then could like? Did we do something like that? I think we did.
I don't remember that at all, but sure.
Something that had to do with your campaign or that you wanted to put in your campaign.
Oh.
Some sort of Native American legend or something.
Oh, Wendigos.
Wendigo, that's what I'm talking about. That's it. Yeah, we did something like that. But either like a something in the woods that is creepy but actually isn't. So like a wizard in the woods, a hag in the woods, something like that, but isn't. Or I kind of want to do like or a legend in a city, a ghost in the city that the legend is that it's like terrifying, but it's actually saving them and helping them from something. It's kind of like a terrible ghost story, but with a little bit of a twist.
I like
Which one
that
do you wanna
idea of a ghost story, or like this is something that we're horrified of or scared of, but it's actually like protecting them. And I don't want it to be of a big city. I'd like it to be a small town. And I kind of want it to be like blocking off like a demon invasion or something. Like something that maybe it's even like ghosts and like it's dealing with the spiritual realm, and like the only reason they don't know that it's happening is because they literally can't see into that realm. But if you can, like there's certain spells that allow you to, you would see there's like millions of them surrounding this city, and they're all being warded off by this creature, whatever it is. And maybe even like the party is tasked with killing it, and it like begs them not to, because it's like, without me, this city dies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I have an idea.
Okay.
So, small farming town. Okay. Like small, podunk little farming village.
Okay.
A good portion of their crops have started wilting and dying. Like one of the fields has like wilted and died. Very classic horror story. Okay, the field that died, the person who previously owned it was killed or murdered by something. What do we want that to be? I think this is how we're going to start this out. So
is it going to be a monster
that's like wilting and dying?
Are you saying the thing it's killed by is a monster, or is the thing that it's killed by just something that it was killed by?
Well, see where what I'm kind of thinking and what I'm going with, just to give us a little bit more context before we jump in, is the ghost of the person who was killed is defending the rest of the fields from this monster that's making all of the fields wilt and die. Does that make sense?
No, I understood that. I like that idea a lot. That the thing that is defending, it's defending them against things that are trying to kill their crops, which is whatever these ghosts are or whatever. But you asked me what killed them? What killed the person? And I don't know what is the thing that killed them this ghost? Is the thing that killed them the things that are like the enemies, that are the actual enemies? Is it the monster in the woods?
Well,
like,
I'm thinking the monster that's ruining the fields and making them wilt and die murdered the man.
Yeah.
Who owned that field.
Okay. So
and now his ghost is protecting the rest of the fields. So it's come up with what was the thing that originally murdered him.
There's a thing in D&D that I'm going to bastardize for this. It's called a Bodok. They're very creepy.
I have no idea what a Bodok is. Actually, maybe I do. Is it something with like a big open mouth that has like raggedy rogues? Or raggedy rogues. Raggedy
rogues.
Like raggedy rags.
I'm gonna pull up the picture and I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's kind of like the Scream creature, and I'm imagining
Yes,
these
this
things.
is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
imagining one of these
I
things
love this
has
creature.
like, yeah, they're cool. I'm imagining one of these creatures like it shuffles into the middle of the field, and it lets out this terrifying scream, and it like, and so like the thing that everybody's scared of is these screams, and it thinks that, and they think that the screams are coming from whatever this protector is, but it's not.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, I like this. So I'm thinking that this guy was killed by... Do we want it to be a Bodak? Do we want it to be something monster like it? What would wilt and destroy crops?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So it's a bastardization. It's taking it and changing it. But I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I think what it looks like is a Bodak, and it's the Bodaks are. We give them whatever that ability is to destroy these crops. Maybe it like
Okay,
it
I like that.
absorbs
Yeah,
it absorbs
I like what this
the
thing looks like. So I'm down.
energy of nature, and so like that's how it sustains itself. Whether that nature is a living person, or that nature is crops, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so it originally makes
in the
its way
end,
into this village.
Oh no, wait, no, okay, hold on, sorry.
And-
Let me just say this real quick. So it destroys the crops. That's how it starts. It destroys the crops until the town has not enough to survive. When people start dying, then it goes in and becomes more brazen and starts taking from the people. So it weakens them by limiting how much food they have.
Okay, I like this. I want to be careful because I want it to be, and tell me if you want something different. But I'm thinking if this Bodak kills most of the crops and then has to start like killing people, does it then remove the haunting legend mistake that this like ghost of the guy that was murdered is causing it? Does that kind of like hamper that?
Yes, but I don't think that's going to happen until like the way that you would have the party encounter this is just after the first field withered. And so they
Okay.
don't
No,
it would be a long ways down the line.
I want to combine this.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is the party comes with like half the fields have already been withered and destroyed. And the guy who was murdered, the legend is that he was just murdered in his own home, like killed in his own home, but he actually went out to try and find this creature and was killed when he was trying to find it.
Yeah.
And so the legend is that he was brutally murdered in his own home, and he now haunts the fields, killing and destroying the fields. They don't know who killed him or brutally murdered him. They don't know who murdered him. And so the party's originally tasked with like either finding out who murdered him, and they end up like making their way through these fields and noticing that they're all like dying as well.
Okay, so it starts with them being hired to investigate this murder.
Yes.
And as they're investigating, they'll go to other farmers and they'll see that their crops are starting to decay in a similar way, starting from a central point in the middle of their field.
Right. That central
Eventually-
point being his like farm and his house that he was murdered in, quote unquote.
Oh, well, no, I was meaning for for the other fields. So I was
Okay,
thinking,
yeah, that works
I was
for me
thinking
too.
what they have to do is they have to like watch the field at night, and they see this creature shamble, like maybe not even shamble, but just kind of walk around it, and they're gonna suspect.
I see where you're going with.
They're
Okay.
gonna suspect that this
Yeah,
creature
yeah.
is the enemy, only to find out that this is the thing stopping the enemy.
Yeah, I think I like.
But so you got to make
Yeah, I
whatever
think I
the
like
good
that better
creature
than-
is. Whatever the good creature is has to be creepy looking too, so that they could, based on preconceived notions, believe that that's the enemy.
Yeah, no, totally. No, I mean it's going to be some sort of creepy ghost, like the guy who was killed. Like maybe, how does this creature kill people then? Let's so we can make this ghost creepy, because I think it would show how he was essentially killed in the ghost form.
Are you saying how does the Bodak kill?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Bodoc, problem is I'm
We
not
can do
logged
whatever we
into
want.
D&D Beyond over here, so I can't on the
I was thinking like a
PC
Harry
I'm using.
Potter Dementor thing where he like sucks the life force from you, and that's what he's doing to the crops too. So the ghost is like this gaunt, soulless, lifeless form that just floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I look at like that Bodak picture that you sent with like his long open mouth and like hollow eyes,
Yeah.
like it looks like he would just like suck the life force from you like a Dementor in
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
that's what I was thinking too. I just wanted to pull up his stat block, but I don't have D&D Beyond on this computer, so I'm pulling it up on my phone as fast as possible.
Yeah, I have no idea what they do. I've never used one before.
I believe they scream, and the scream does. They have. Well, first out, they have an aura of annihilation. The Bodoc can activate or deactivate this feature as a bonus action. While active, the aura deals 5 necrotic damage to any creature that ends its turn within 30 feet of the Bodoc. So maybe it's something like their aura of annihilation is how they destroy these crops. Like maybe it's the aura of annihilation. You make it so it's actually like sucking energy and giving that
Yes,
to
taking
the
the life force
Bodoc.
from
So
it.
it's healing from that. If we wanted to make it in game terms, so maybe we even make the Bodoc, which normally is CR6, maybe we make it a higher CR by giving it this healing ability of this aura of annihilation.
Or
Yeah.
it has made these farms its lair, and it's its lair action, where its lair action like the crops wilt and die and give it HP.
Okay, yeah. And anybody standing in the field also gets hurt.
Yep, and they get right. Yep, exactly, and they take some damage too.
At night, they it would make sense that they would only do this at night because they have sunlight hypersensitivity. The Bodoc takes 5
yep.
radiant damage when it starts its turn in sunlight. And so
Oh well, then okay. So here's
So
here's
it
my
seems like
question.
they
then.
don't scream. Now that I'm looking at it, they have their gaze is deadly. So they have a death gaze that when they can
That's
they
literally-
can
It's literally perfect for the murder.
yeah, when you see so death gaze is first when you see the Bodoc's eyes start its turn within 30 feet of the Bodoc. The Bodoc can force it to make a DC 13 con save if the creature isn't incapacitated. If they fail by 5 or more, they drop to 0 hit points immediately. Unless they are immune to the fright. So they can frighten people so much with their gaze that they can just die.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. Like,
And then
the
they have an
terrified,
actual
lifeless expression on you.
and they actually have a withering gaze attack. So they either just hit you with their fists, or they do a withering gaze, where one creature that the Bodoc can see within 60 feet makes a con save, or takes 4d10 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a success. So they can just look at you and make you wither.
Yep. Nah, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm thinking of. Exactly what I'm thinking of with this, like, murder. Okay, so here's my question. So the legend is, man was murdered in his home, and his ghost now haunts and is destroying the crops, right? Mm-hmm. That's the legend.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's a Bodak who killed this guy and is now eating the crops around the field, like in the around the town. Correct?
Yeah. Now I kind of want it to be okay. So I kind of want it to be I want it to be something just the murder I want it to be just slightly different if you'd be willing to go with me here.
Yeah, sure. Shoot.
I would like the murder to be like a suicide, or it looks like a suicide. Like maybe this guy has a giant tree in his yard and his crops have been dying, so everybody thought like, oh, he's running out of money, he's not going to be able to succeed like in his farming endeavors, and so he got so sad that he offed himself, because the Bodoc, what they did is they hung them up by this tree after they killed them.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But
That's super good. I didn't know that was what Bodaks did.
Well, no, they didn't, but this is just something I'm adding. And so I think,
sweet.
And so what I think is that the party gets hired by somebody who's like, this doesn't seem right to me. Like, this person has no reason. They would never do that. And so the way that they get hired by someone who's like, that's not right.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the legend we're gonna change. Yeah, the legend's definitely gonna change then. So the legend is that good old Farmer Joe was an outstanding member of the community. He wasn't a good farmer, a good husband. You know, like a outstanding member of his community. Over time, his crops began to die and wilt, causing him to go into this like downward spiral of sadness and depression and stuff like that, where he eventually couldn't take the grief of. There's a part of me that wants like the Bodak to have killed like his family too, so like because his farm was dying and he couldn't afford food and stuff. His family started dying as well.
Yeah, I like
so
that
because
too.
of these
I like that.
yeah, because of these horribly traumatic events, he ended up killing himself, and like hung himself from the tree. And so the party, and now now his spirit, after he hung himself, now haunts the town and the farms to destroy and kill the farms, so that people can experience his true pain, because he thought nobody would help him in his time of need. That's kind of like the legend. So now he has now haunting this town and these fields, to make people experience the same fate he had, because nobody would help him or care for him.
Okay.
So that essentially makes it so
there's
that
two enemies now.
His ghost is now
There's
destroying
his
the
ghost.
fields.
Yes, there's two enemies now: the Bodak and his ghost, and the ghost.
Well, I don't even know if the ghost exists, actually.
Okay, so the story. Okay,
It's just the legend. Yeah, like people there's been claims that they've seen him wandering the fields, destroying the crops or whatever.
So people,
as a ghost.
even though this thing is destroying the crops, they believe it's this guy's ghost.
Yes, but it's not
Interesting.
really. It's not.
Yes.
There's not even a ghost. Like
Yeah. So they just believe that.
that's
Okay,
just the
I get
legend. That's just the ghost story.
it. Okay, I get it, and I like this.
Yeah. And so the party has to go and investigate whatever, investigate the farm or whatever. Because somebody was like, this doesn't seem like him. I know what the legend in the ghost story says, but I've known him personally, and I don't think. Maybe like his daughter survived or something, and she's now an outcast of the village. Like they think she's, maybe she's next, and she's the one. If they kill her or if they do something with her, then the ghost will disappear and their crops will be back, something along those lines. And so maybe the daughter's like, I know him personally. This can't be who he was. Can you go like look at the farm and check out the farm, and help me try and decipher what actually happened? So like maybe they're trying to use her as leverage to stop this ghost, like a King Kong type thing, where they like the tribesmen like take the lady and like offer her to King Kong to see if they can like get King Kong to not do. I'm thinking something like that.
So eventually,
Does that make sense?
They with this person go out at night and they see this Bodak, but they think it's the ghost, and they're like, "Hey, we'll try to like calm it down by like you talk to it. You go talk to it."
I mean, there's any number of things. I'd put it in the player's hands at that point. It'd be like, what do they want to do? Do they want to go into the fields and look to see if they can find the ghost? Do they want to go investigate the house? Like any number of things.
Yeah. I thought that was where you're going with the King Kong and the...
Yeah, I think I like the idea of the village, like, since the ghost story is that the ghost of this man is, like, destroying the crops, the village tries to use the daughter as, like, a leverage, like a tool, or here, take your daughter to the spirit realm with you instead, like, or even, like... Or even a threat, like if you continue to haunt our fields, we'll kill your daughter. I mean, I kind of like that little aspect of it, because then the daughter is the one who like gives them the quest to like my dad wasn't necessarily like this.
Okay,
this wasn't
okay,
him.
wait. So okay. So do you think the town is kind of rallying against this daughter, like witch trial like stuff, like stop your dad from doing
that's what
this?
I was thinking.
Stop your. Okay, cool. I like that. That's
because they think that like if they since this ghost has been haunting, if they can either kill the daughter or threaten the ghost with killing the daughter or anything like that, that it will make this ghost go away. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so the daughters then like these people are, terrified and they don't know what they're talking about. Like my father was not this type of person. He's, I don't think it's him. I don't think he would have killed himself, and I don't think he's haunting the fields. And then the town is they believe he is, and they're like, well, you're just saying that because you're the daughter. If we get rid of you, this all will stop, like that type of thing. Like if we have you join him back in the fields, this whole thing will stop. And so essentially the party has to stop the village from offering the girl to the Bodak. Just like, because that's what they're thinking about doing, like offering it to the Bodak to appease the what they perceive as the ghost who's ruining the crops. And then the party has to stop the village from doing that, and then they go and like investigate the field. They go investigate the house. And I'm thinking that the field is like a semi-layer. So while they're in this field and they get attacked by the Bodak, if they find it, it it absorbs their energy, like we were talking about. But I think I want it to be a 2-part combat where he then the Bodak then escapes and runs back to its lair, which is the house now, like a basement in the house or something that maybe they didn't see or find.
Okay. And why is
So it's
the
like a 2-part
Bodak
combat.
running there?
Because like they're gonna kill it. Like they start the fight in the field, and when they're about to kill it, like maybe at 50% health or whatever, it tries to run away and get to its like safe lair.
Okay, wait.
That
okay.
it's created.
Okay. I want to make this terrible and horrible. So I want to think that that the even if the party decides to go there at night, I think the person who hired them is kind of following them. So she'll be there anyway. And I think when the creature runs away, it will try to use the memories of the person it absorbed. So it'll sound like her father. It'll be like, "Save me, help me." And so it's trying to play on those heartstrings, and it runs to where the father felt safe. So maybe it runs to like his office, not just like an underground thing. Or maybe it is like, maybe it's the barn or whatever, and it's just where the father felt safe because that's the memories that it has.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot.
And so it makes it this horrible tug on heartstrings. Wait, is this the father or is this not the father? We don't know anymore.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I love like these type of like ghost stories. I like the idea of the party having this like double moral dilemma of like, I mean, I guess it's not really a moral dilemma, but having like they have to stop the village from like literally killing this girl. They have to like so many different things that they have to do to like stop this Bodak from ruining the village.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fun little like one-off side quest that happens.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a pretty good legend too, where it's like all of these series of unfortunate events happened to this man and he ended up killing himself. And now every once in a while you can still see his ghost wandering the fields, eating and consuming and destroying the fields, so that everyone else can feel his pain. Because that's a very like ghost. That's a very ghost. It's a very cliche ghost story. I like that a lot. So do you think the village? Okay. Do you think the village has been harmed in this more so than just the crops being eaten? Like, do you think somebody else is dead or missing? Do you think, like, has the Bodak done more than just eating the crops? What do you think?
I mean, I think the Bodak's full-on goal is to kill everyone. Is at least in the town. Is slowly
like consume the whole life force of the town.
Yes. Yeah. So I think its goal is to slowly absorb all the food. Then when the town is at its weakest, absorb people. And this father coming out early was not in its plan. It didn't want this. And maybe it's not even like smart enough to really it just has this way of doing things. And so the father came out and it had to kill him.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. See, I like that a lot. And then it like adds this like layer of complexity into it. Like just more depth into the story.
Yeah. So we know this Bodak is doing that. What is there any like? Do you have any idea on the lore for the Bodak? Why is the Bodak going after this town? Why is it near this town?
So Okay, I'm gonna directly steal from my campaign 1. And
I
I
was so
want
hoping you were
the
going to steal from the
legend.
current campaign.
No, I'm not from my previous campaign. But I think the legend is partially true, but partially false. So the part that's true is the farmer went through a lot of severe sorrow. And I'm thinking the Bodak is attracted to severe sorrow. And so it was attracted to this little community because this father had experienced so much sorrow that it essentially drew the Bodak in.
Okay. So do you think, first off, the young son of this farmer dies of some disease? That sorrow brings the Bodak, who hurts the crops,
Yep.
which then
Yeah.
leads to starvation of the mother. And
Yep. Yeah,
while she's still on
exactly.
her deathbed, he goes out and tries to at night trying to find what's going on with the crops. Dies by the Bodak.
And
Then the mother
Yep.
dies just from the sickness and starvation. Then the daughter is the one who gives the party the quest.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. What if we change it from starvation to disease? Okay. So you had the son dies from a disease. The disease is then spread to the mother, and the father goes out to find out what's causing this. Like the disease is also killing crops. That's how it's killing crops too, like partially. So he goes out to try and find out what's wrong with the crops and gets killed by the Bodak, who's partially causing the disease. And the daughter then was the only one who's able to survive and escape to the village. And the village blames the daughter because she has this disease too. And so that's another reason.
Oh
for the
no,
village to
I
be
don't.
like,
I don't know if they blame her, but they think she's gonna give it to either them or their
Yes.
crops. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gives a more like concrete reason for why the daughter is still in the picture. Because I was having a hard time like tying the daughter in the village and blaming her. So she has this disease that originally
That
started
killed their
the
crops.
problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's cool.
Yep. And so they think that that this ghost is now haunting them, and the only way to get rid of it is to either kill her and just like end the suffering of this man, or let the disease slowly kill her and take her away. And so like but they want to get rid of her fast because this ghost is still haunting and killing their crops too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Really quick, I'm going to say that the disease isn't killing the crops. The Bodak is killing the crops. But they think that the daughter's going to pass it to the village and kill the village like what happened to the father.
Are you sure? I really like the idea that it looks similar.
Well, I the only reason it's because then I have a hard time connecting the ghost story with killing the crops. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Okay, I see.
So the village is afraid of two things. One, that the daughter is going to give them all this disease and kill the village.
Yeah.
Two, they're afraid that this ghost that's killing their crops is going to continue on. So they want to essentially get rid of the daughter in any means possible because it gets rid of the disease that possibly could plague them, and also this ghost problem because the ghost is still hanging on to the daughter.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I do like this. This is good.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think we're going to end here. This feels like a good stopping point. Thank you all for listening to episode 40 of Dungeoneered. We're on 40 now.
I know.
Only 12
Big
away
ol'
from
40.
doing this for a year.
I know. Holy cow.
Yep.
It's been so long.
It doesn't feel like it, though. That's for sure.
No, it doesn't, but it's been a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
So then what, episode 52, are we going to do something fancy?
I guess we have to.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe we dive into your
That's going to be another
campaign.
surprise that we have.
Maybe we dive into your world on that time, because we dived into mine during the lukewarm episode.
Oh, yeah. My world is so huge, humongous, and complex. There's so much. Oh, my gosh.
And that's why it would take a whole episode.
So long.
Well, we'll figure that out, and you'll have to wait and see till episode 52.
Yeah, me too. I'll probably have to wait and see till episode 52 also.
And then you'll have the idea by then. Well, thank you for listening. And if you listen to us on any podcasting app that has ratings and reviews, let us know what you think. Rate and review us. And yeah, thank you for your time, I guess. And always remember,
the ramble ending is the best ending.
it's the best ending. It's so good where you're like, and then
Just
I
make
think-
it as awkward as possible. So
Yeah.
yeah,
so yeah,
have a great day.
yeah, let's do all this. But no, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You know. Yeah.
Always remember to be the sharpest barrel in the bunch. See you next time.
Bye.